Long ago, in a kingdom draped in perpetual snow, the Snow Queen ruled over her icy realm with a heart as cold as the glaciers that surrounded her. Yet, hidden deep within her frozen palace, there lay a secret, a forgotten spell capable of unlocking warmth, light, and life. It was said that this spell, when completed, could end the eternal winter that gripped the land. But the Snow Queen, consumed by a past she could scarcely remember, had buried the fragments of the spell throughout her vast kingdom. Few dared to venture into her icy domain, for it was guarded by blizzards, frost wolves, and enchanted snow guardians. The people of the neighboring villages spoke of the Snow Queen with fear and sorrow, wondering if her icy heart could ever thaw. One such village lay nestled at the edge of the Snow Queen's realm. In this village lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Lila. With her shimmering golden hair and emerald green eyes, she was the light of her small community. Lila had grown up hearing stories of the Snow Queen and the endless winter, but she didn't see the Queen as a villain. She believed there was more to the story, a reason behind the icy curse. Lila's journey began one fateful evening when her younger brother Finn disappeared. The villagers believed he had wandered too close to the Snow Queen's domain and had been taken. Desperate to save her brother, Lila packed a small satchel with essentials and set off into the snowy wilderness, determined to find Finn and uncover the truth about the Snow Queen. The snowstorm howled like a wild beast as Lila trudged through knee-deep drifts. Her cloak, though thick, did little to shield her from the biting cold. As she pressed on, the world around her seemed to grow quieter, the snow muffling every sound. Suddenly, she spotted a faint glow in the distance, a warm, golden light that stood out against the icy expanse. Curious and hopeful, Lila made her way toward the light. It led her to a cluster of evergreen trees, their branches heavy with snow. Beneath one of the trees sat a small, glowing creature, a snow sprite. It was no larger than a robin, with shimmering wings made of frost and a tiny face that glowed with curiosity. "Who are you?" Lila asked softly, crouching down. The sprite's voice was like the tinkling of icicles in the wind. "I am Ira, a guide of the frozen forest. Why have you come here, mortal girl?" "I'm searching for my brother," Lila replied, her breath visible in the freezing air. "He's been taken by the Snow Queen." Era's glow flickered, and her voice grew solemn. "If the Snow Queen has him, your journey will be perilous. Her palace is guarded by magic stronger than any you've known. But," the sprite hesitated, then fluttered closer, "there may be a way. The Snow Queen's power is tied to the forgotten spell, a spell of warmth and renewal. If you can find its fragments, you may have a chance to break her icy grip." Lila's heart raced. "Where do I find the fragments?" Era's tiny wings glimmered as she flew in a small circle. "The first fragment lies in the Cavern of Echoes, guarded by the frost wolves. You must be clever and brave, for they will not give it up easily." "Determined," Lila nodded. "Then take me there." The journey to the Cavern of Echoes was treacherous. The icy winds grew fiercer, and the snowdrifts higher. Ira flew ahead, her golden glow guiding Lila through the white abyss. After hours of walking, they arrived at the mouth of the cavern. It was a dark, jagged opening in the side of a towering ice cliff. The air around it was still, but the silence felt heavy, as if the cavern itself were alive. "Be cautious," Era warned. "The frost wolves are cunning and fierce, but they value honor. If you can outwit their leader, they may let you pass." Taking a deep breath, Lila stepped into the cavern. The air inside was icy and damp, her footsteps echoing eerily. The walls shimmered with frost, reflecting her torchlight like 1,000 tiny mirrors. Suddenly, a low growl rumbled through the cavern. From the shadows emerged a pack of frost wolves, their fur as white as the snow and their eyes glowing like blue flames. The largest of the wolves stepped forward, his eyes fixed on Lila. "Who dares enter our domain?" he growled, his voice deep and resonant. Lila stood her ground, though her hands trembled. "I am Lila, and I seek the first fragment of the forgotten spell. Will you let me pass?" The wolf leader bared his teeth. "Many have sought the fragment, but none have proven worthy. To claim it, you must pass a trial of wit and courage." Lila nodded. "I'll face your trial." The wolf's eyes gleamed with approval. "Very well. Solve this riddle, and the fragment shall be yours. Fail, and you will never leave this cavern," he began. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila's mind raced. She repeated the riddle in her head, piecing together the clues. After a moment, her eyes lit up. "You are fire," she said confidently. The frost wolves exchanged glances, their glowing eyes flickering. Finally, the leader nodded. "You have answered correctly. The fragment is yours." From the depths of the cavern, a shard of shimmering ice floated toward Lila. It glowed faintly, pulsing with a warmth that felt out of place in the frozen world. She reached out and took it, feeling its power resonate through her. "This is only the beginning," the wolf leader said. "The path ahead will be even more dangerous." Lila nodded, her resolve unwavering. "Thank you. I will succeed." With the first fragment in hand, Lila stepped out of the cavern, the snowstorm awaiting her once more. She looked to Era, who hovered nearby. "Where to next?" Era's glow brightened. "The second fragment lies in the Valley of Frozen Whispers. But beware, for its guardian is not as kind as the frost wolves." As Lila prepared for the next leg of her journey, she couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. The forgotten spell was real, and with each step, she was closer to uncovering its secrets and saving her brother. Lila clutched the icy fragment tightly, its faint warmth a reminder of her progress. The snowstorm outside howled, but her heart burned with determination. She turned to Era, who hovered nearby, her glow flickering like a tiny lantern in the frozen wilderness. "The Valley of Frozen Whispers," Lila said, her breath visible in the freezing air. "What do I need to know before we go?" Era's tinkling voice turned serious. "The valley is a treacherous place. The air is filled with haunting voices, echoes of the past, regrets and fears. They will try to confuse you, to weaken your resolve. And the guardian of the valley—" Ira hesitated, her glow dimming. "She is an ice siren, known as Vetra. Her song can enchant even the strongest of hearts. You must not listen to her song, or you may never leave." Lila nodded, her grip tightening on the shard. "I won't fail." The journey to the Valley of Frozen Whispers was grueling. The snow grew heavier, and the air seemed to thrum with an eerie energy. As they approached the valley, the snow gave way to smooth, glass-like ice that reflected the pale light of the moon. The wind carried faint whispers, barely audible but unsettling. "This is it," Era said, her voice low. "Remember, trust your heart, not the voices." Lila stepped cautiously onto the icy surface. The whispers grew louder, forming words that tugged at her emotions. "Why do you bother, Lila? You'll never succeed. You can't save Finn. You're just a foolish girl." Lila shook her head, forcing herself to focus. "They're just echoes," she whispered. "They can't hurt me." As she moved deeper into the valley, the whispers coalesced into a haunting melody. From the center of the frozen expanse rose a figure draped in shimmering ice-blue robes. Her hair flowed like a cascade of frost, and her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. This was Vetra, the ice siren. "Welcome, brave girl," Vetra said, her voice like the sweetest lullaby. "Why do you wander into my domain?" "I've come for the second fragment of the forgotten spell," Lila replied, standing tall. Vetra smiled, her expression both kind and menacing. Ah, the spell. So many have sought it, yet none have succeeded. Why should I give it to you? I have no choice, Lila said firmly. I need it to save my brother and to end this endless winter. Vetra's laughter echoed, chilling and melodic. How noble, but nothing comes without a price. To earn the fragment, you must prove your strength against my enchantments. Before Lila could respond, Vetra began to sing. The melody was enchanting, wrapping around Lila like a silken web. Her vision blurred, and she felt a strange heaviness in her limbs. The world around her shifted, and suddenly she was back in her village. She saw Finn, laughing as he played in the snow. Her parents waved to her from their cottage, their faces warm with love. The endless winter was gone, replaced by a bright sunny day. It's so peaceful, isn't it? Vetra's voice whispered in her ear. You can stay here forever. Just give up your quest. Lila's heart ached. The vision was so real, so tempting. But deep down, she knew it wasn't true. She closed her eyes, focusing on the fragment in her hand. Its warmth reminded her of her mission. This isn't real, she said aloud, her voice cutting through the illusion. The vision shattered like glass, and Lila found herself back in the valley. Vetra's smile faded, replaced by a look of surprise. You broke my enchantment, the siren said, her tone grudgingly respectful. Very well, you have proven your strength. With a wave of her hand, Vetra summoned the second fragment. It floated toward Lila, its icy surface shimmering with a faint golden light. Take it, Vetra said, but know this, the path ahead will only grow darker. The Snow Queen guards the final fragment herself, and her heart is colder than the frostiest winter. Lila accepted the fragment, her resolve stronger than ever. I'm not afraid. Thank you, Vetra. As Lila left the valley, Ira fluttered beside her, her glow bright with admiration. You've done it. Only one fragment remains, but the final leg of your journey will be the hardest yet. Where is the last fragment? Lila asked. Ira hesitated. In the Snow Queen's palace, at the heart of her frozen kingdom. It won't be easy to reach her, but if you can confront her and complete the spell, you may just save your brother and the land. Lila tightened her grip on the fragments, their warmth a beacon of hope. Let's go. The Snow Queen won't stop me. With her heart set on the final challenge, Lila stepped forward, the snowy wilderness stretching endlessly before her. The whispers of the valley faded, replaced by the howling winds of the Snow Queen's domain. The true test awaited her, and she was ready to face it. Lila gripped the two shimmering fragments of the spell tightly, their faint warmth battling the biting cold that surrounded her. The Snow Queen's palace loomed in the distance, a towering fortress of ice, its spires piercing the stormy sky. The final fragment lay within, and with it, the fate of her brother, Finn, and the entire kingdom. Aera hovered beside her, glowing brighter than ever. The Snow Queen's palace is guarded by her strongest magic and her most loyal servants. You'll need more than courage to succeed. I have to try, Lila said, her emerald green eyes blazing with determination. I won't let Finn down. The journey to the palace was grueling. The wind howled like a living thing, and the snowstorm grew fiercer with every step. Lila's cloak offered little protection, and her hands were numb from the cold. But she pressed on, the fragments in her satchel reminding her of the warmth she sought to bring back to the land. When she reached the gates of the palace, she found them guarded by towering snow guardians, giant statues of ice that came to life as she approached. Their eyes glowed an icy blue, and they raised their massive weapons to block her path. Halt, intruder, one of them boomed, its voice like an avalanche. I've come for the final fragment of the forgotten spell, Lila said, standing her ground. The guardians exchanged glances before the tallest one stepped forward. Only those who are pure of heart and strong of will may enter. prove your worth, and the gates will open." The guardian held out a massive hand, revealing a puzzle of shimmering ice shards. "Reassemble the shards to reveal the truth, and you may pass." Lila knelt before the puzzle, her mind racing. The shards seemed random at first, but as she studied them, she began to see a pattern, an image of a snowflake. Her fingers trembled as she pieced the shards together, each one fitting perfectly into the next. Finally, the last shard clicked into place, and the snowflake glowed with a radiant light. The gates groaned and creaked as they opened, revealing the vast frozen halls of the Snow Queen's palace. The guardians stepped aside, their icy eyes dimming. "You may enter. Beware the Queen's wrath." Inside, the palace was both breathtaking and chilling. The walls glittered like diamonds, and the air was so cold it felt like needles on Lila's skin. She followed Ira's glow through the labyrinthine corridors until they reached the grand throne room. There, seated upon a throne of ice, was the Snow Queen. She was as beautiful as she was terrifying, her silver hair cascading like a frozen waterfall, and her piercing blue eyes colder than the frostiest winter. In her hands, she held the final fragment of the spell, its light dim and flickering. "So," the Snow Queen said, her voice echoing through the chamber, "you've come for the spell." "I have," Lila replied, stepping forward. "I need it to save my brother and end this eternal winter." The Queen's expression was unreadable. "Do you truly believe you can complete the spell? Many have tried and failed. Why should you succeed where they did not?" "Because I'm not doing this for myself," Lila said firmly. "I'm doing it for my brother, for my village, and for everyone who's suffered under this endless winter." The Snow Queen's icy facade faltered for a moment, a flicker of pain crossing her face. "You remind me of someone I once knew, someone I lost long ago." Lila's heart softened. "Who was it?" The Queen looked away, her voice barely above a whisper. "My sister. She was the only warmth in my life, and when I lost her, I couldn't bear the pain. The spell was meant to bring her back, but it was incomplete. Instead of reviving her, it froze my heart and cursed the land." Understanding dawned on Lila. "That's why you buried the fragments. You couldn't face the truth." The Snow Queen. The Snow Queen's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Yes, and now I am too far gone. My heart is ice, and I cannot undo what I've done." "You're wrong," Lila said, stepping closer. "It's not too late. The spell can still work, but only if you let go of the pain and help me complete it." The Queen hesitated, the fragment trembling in her hands. I don't know if I can." "You can," Lila said gently. "Your sister wouldn't want you to live like this. She'd want you to bring warmth and light back to the world." Tears streamed down the Queen's face, freezing as they fell. Slowly, she extended the fragment to Lila. "Take it. Finish what I could not." Lila took the fragment, and as it joined the others, a brilliant light filled the throne room. The warmth of the spell melted the frost on the walls, and the icy palace began to transform into a dazzling sanctuary of crystal and light. The Snow Queen gasped as the ice encasing her heart began to thaw. "It's warm," she whispered, a single tear of joy slipping down her cheek. The light of the completed spell burst forth, spreading across the land. The snow melted, revealing lush green fields and blooming flowers. The villagers rejoiced as the eternal winter came to an end. Lila found Finn in the throne room, unharmed and smiling. "Lila!" he cried, running to embrace her. The Snow Queen watched them with a soft smile. "Thank you, Lila. You've given me a second chance and reminded me of what truly matters." As the Queen stepped down from her throne, she vowed to protect the land and its people, using her magic to nurture life instead of freezing it. Lila and Finn returned to their village as heroes, the fragments of the forgotten spell, now a symbol of hope and renewal. And so, the Snow Queen's heart was no longer cold, and her realm became a land of beauty and warmth, a testament to the power of love, courage, and forgiveness.